Welcome everybody to a special transition episode of the Positive Impact Podcast. I am your host, Terrell Dozier, and today I got three special guests with me today, four girls who I've had the pleasure of working with at one time or another, who have transitioned themselves from high school basketball stars to college basketball players. So I want to introduce Shyla Sanford, a sophomore at LIU-Brooklyn, Graceann Bennett, a freshman at Georgetown University, Saeeda Abdul-Aziz, a junior at Davidson College, and Danielle Migliore, a grad student at Rutgers University. Welcome, ladies.
Hey.
Hi.
All right. So let's introduce you to the public out here. I'll start with you, Shyla. Just kind of give me a background, where you from, what high school you went to.
I'm Shyla Sanford. I'm from Latham, New York. I went to Shaker High School, and now I'm currently at Long Island University in Brooklyn.
Awesome. Graceann?
My name is Graceann Bennett. I'm from Lake George, New York, and I went to Lake George High School. I'm currently a freshman at Georgetown University.
Saeeda?
I'm Saeeda Abdul-Aziz. I'm from Rotterdam, New York. I went to Mahonison High School, and I'm currently a junior at Davidson College.
Awesome. Danielle?
I'm Danielle Migliore. I'm a grad student. I'm finishing up right now my master's at Rutgers, and I'm from Frankfort, New York. Played at Frankfort Schuyler High School.
Awesome. Thank you, girls. I appreciate that. So let's just kind of like jump right into it. So I'll start with you, Shyla. Let's talk about high school a little bit. So you played 4 years at Shaker, I believe?
Yes.
So you played 4 years at Shaker. You kind of knew going into Shaker that, okay, I'm going to play as a freshman on varsity. So your journey was kind of mapped out for you when you got to Shaker. Let's talk about from your freshman, things that you had to do from your freshman throughout your senior year to get to where you're at right now.
Definitely freshman year at Shaker, I definitely had to prove myself, like knowing I was a freshman. Obviously, like the older girls looked at me differently because I was a freshman on varsity, which was different at Shaker. But like once like after tryouts, like and we got into the season, like they were more welcoming and stuff, which was good. And then Cece Mayo was very helpful, like bringing me with her, showing me everything that I needed to know. And honestly, like after freshman year, like I had a lot of confidence. I knew like my role and my position on the team, which helped a lot. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like I feel like I knew like what I had to do, like just to be successful there.
Mm-hmm. All right. So great, because all of you had decorated high school basketball careers. So like, Danielle, what do you think was the biggest thing, like coming in as a freshman? What was the biggest thing that you accomplished and worked on from your freshman year to by the time you graduated from high school? Like, what's the skill that you worked on the most and you got better at over your 4 years of high school?
In high school? Mm-hmm. I probably worked on my shooting capabilities the most, but in high school, like I wanted to work on ball handling as well, because I could play any position in high school, with the 1, 2, or the 3. So just me sharpening up my ball handling skills and kind of getting ready for college, I think helped a lot.
Awesome. And then for you, Graceann, so when you're in high school and you're over 6 feet tall, they tend to put you close to the basket. So talk about how you were able to work on not only your back to the basket game, but also being able to face up.
Absolutely. I think I had a kind of like a novel high school experience just because going to such a small school, for a lot of the time in high school, I was actually the point guard. And then I would like dish the ball to get it back in the post and then, face up from there. So I got to have that experience of being a combo, which I'm not in college right now. So, coming in, I guess, like looking at my development through high school, I was really able to have experiences that a lot of post players don't get to have. working on ball handling and a mid-range game. That's kind of helped me in college so far.
Okay. Saeeda, talk about your high school experience being the top player and having to carry a team, and how, you know, everybody on the floor was depending on you to do everything, and how teams could kind of come in and just kind of key in on you and say, all right, we're just going to guard you with everybody and make everybody else beat you. What was that like for you going through high school?
Yeah, it was difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Like being such a good player at Mahonison, it was like, okay, Mahonison's trash, but like Saeeda, she can play. And so it was like every day I was working in order to be better for the next game. So like I already knew if I'm playing Shaker, like I'm gonna have Cece or Shyla guarding me. If I'm playing April Park, I already know they're sending 2 or 3 girls every time. So it was a matter of me trying to each game get ready for that, but also get my teammates ready in a way where they can at least try to help me. And like, I'm like, if I pass you the ball, you're gonna have to shoot at some point. So like, I just need you to make this layup.
Right.
So I think that was the hardest thing for me. Like my 5 years on varsity, like I would say like my biggest growth was my leadership.
Right.
And that's like the biggest way I needed to grow in, is that, yeah, I can play, but I need to have trust in my teammates and I need to carry them each night in and out. So I think that was like the biggest thing. I'm not gonna lie, I had some breakdowns. Like I was like, what else could I do?
Absolutely.
But it was fun while it lasted. I'm not gonna lie.
So let's talk about the difference between high school, being that girl in high school, and you kind of know everybody in your area. Like, you know if you're the big dog in your area or not. Like, you already know who the other players are, so that when you go into that game, I got to be locked in. I'm playing this girl tonight. Right. And let's talk about that and the difference now. High school season's over. Now we got to go do this AAU thing.
Yeah.
Where some of those girls that I played against, now we're actually playing together. And now we're playing against some girls all over the country that can hoop like on a different level than even the best girls in my area. So Shyla, tell me about your experience between, high school and AAU, and how the AAU helped you during your high school season.
Just like AAU in general, like I feel like the competition is just so much better than high school. So like, it's definitely like, oh shit, like I actually have to like, like, it's just like these girls are good. And like in high school, I feel like you can get away with like these girls being like mediocre. But like in AAU, like it's just a different basketball, honestly.
Right. Absolutely. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, it's definitely a different level. I had to rely on AAU practices and games to really kind of see where I was at, see if I'm improving and what I'm working at every single day. Because in high school, like practices was easy, games easy. Like you already knew what to expect. So I really relied on AAU practices and trainings to get better.
Nice. So Graceann, so you play AAU as well. Tell me the first phone call that you got from a college coach to say, listen, we want you here. Who was that coach, and what was the school, and what was that feeling?
I remember, oh my God, I feel old and I'm not. This is a long time ago.
What you think I feel?
I know. I'm literally 18. Like, I was in 8th grade, I think. Well, the last season of AAU I played because of injury was my freshman year. So I think it was 8th grade winter. I got a call from, it was a really small Division I school in Virginia. And to be honest, I don't even remember, or it was in the Shenandoah Valley. I have no idea what the name of the school is, but that was like the first time when I was like, I could really do this. And it was definitely motivating for me. And then just like going to camps that summer and getting looks from coaches really pushed me to have a great year in AAU. And that was the beginning for me, was in 8th grade, but it was super exciting. I had no idea what to think of it.
Awesome. Saeeda, what was your first call?
Honestly, I think the first one, I don't know, it went to my dad, actually. Like, the coach ended up calling my dad, and Julie McBride. They also called Julie McBride before they spoke to me. And they're like, yo, like, Saeeda, you can definitely, you're really good. Like, you can come play for us. I don't remember what school it was. But they were like, we really want you. Like, and I was in 8th grade too at the point when I was playing for Julie. And I was like, wow, like, I can actually, like, go to school. And I was like, they're like, yeah, like, full ride, like, everything. I was like, it's pretty dope. And I was like, okay. And that's when I really, like, took a turn in my basketball career. And that's when I literally just started, like, me and my dad would just be in the gym for hours, literally hours. I'll come to you and we'd be there for hours. And so I think that's really when I was like, all right, like, it's time to turn it up now.
Absolutely. So, Shyla, talk about your recruiting experience and, you know, coaches calling, letters coming in, having to take visits. Kind of take me through your recruiting process and how you decided to make the decision to go to LIU-Brooklyn.
It was definitely tough for me because, like, I didn't have, like, a lot of options, but like, I had a few offers, like, in the NAC, like, so I had, like, I was at the end, I was going through Wagner and LIU, but, like, when I went to Wagner, I just didn't, like, I just felt weird, like, it just didn't feel like a family or whatever. So, like, LIU was just, like, the coaching staff was just so much better for me, and, like, I felt like they cared more in a sense.
Right.
So, like, that was definitely what made me, like, want to go. And then, like, also, like, the whole city area, like, it's not in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's always so much stuff to do, and, like, I'm never bored.
Right.
And, like, I like that. Like, I don't like to just sit in the house and, like, do nothing. So, like, that definitely was a big factor.
Right. Okay. I got you. So, Danielle, you know, you definitely the vet in this bunch. You know what I'm saying? You're the vet in this bunch. So, take me through how you made it to St. Bonaventure at first. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to dig too deep just yet, but just take me right now how you got from Frankfurt to St. Bonnie's.
Okay, well, that's a long time ago, but you know, I was just I was getting some calls, whatever, and my first visit was actually to Bonnie's.
Okay.
And it wasn't to the coach that's there now, the coach that coached me for 3 years, like, he wasn't the one who recruited me. So when I got on campus, like, I loved the team feel, like, the atmosphere, the environment. So I really based my decision off of, like, I liked how the classes were smaller sized, and just everyone was kind of like a family. But then I got there in the summer, and the coach was like, yo, like, I'm leaving, I'm going to Providence. So you're gonna have a new whole coaching staff. But it was I was already there for my summer. So I was just like, all right, like, let's see how this goes.
Right.
So my freshman year was kind of, like, you know, different than what I expected. But yeah, I really based my decision off of just the players that were there, how welcoming they were. And yeah, the coaching staff really bought me.
Okay. So Shyla said it was the family atmosphere, and Danielle kind of said the same thing. Grace, what led you to Georgetown? Like, what was the deciding factor for Georgetown, and who was it out of between Georgetown and who else?
For me, it was going to be either Georgetown or wait till the fall of my senior year and play AAU then, because I had to get another surgery my junior year. And it was like this, do I wait and see if I can get something else, or, you know, do I, like, take this opportunity? And when I thought about it, it was like a no-brainer, because it's just such a great academic opportunity and it's amazing basketball. And it was really everything that I wanted in a school. So to have that kind of fall into my hands at the right time was great, because then they actually did my second operation, and this one's been successful. So that was super cool.
Awesome.
But the thing I think that sold it the most was that I just felt wanted, like Shyla said. And I got that the most out of any of the other schools that were recruiting me. Like, I really felt like they wanted me as much as I wanted them. So made it a pretty easy decision.
Okay. Saeeda, what led you to Davidson?
Yeah. Honestly, not gonna lie, it was my very last visit, and I didn't even want to go in it. I had already had my other 3 visits set, already done, and the weekend before I was at somewhere else, and I was like, yeah, that's my place. Like, I'm gonna go there.
Right.
My dad forced me to go. He was like, they already set it up for you. Like, it's all set and done. Like, let's just go look at it. You haven't been there. Let's just go look. I got here, absolutely loved it. Like, Davidson is such a beautiful campus. The coaching staff who had originally recruited me, because my coaching staff left and we had a new one my freshman year. I absolutely loved them. The girls on the team, we had such a great time together. We were literally able to sit there and chop it up. Like, they told me everything straight up. I told them everything straight up and what I was looking for. So it was like, Davidson is definitely very, very much community-based. Like, it's a very small campus, but everybody knows each other. Like, it just felt like it was a home away from home. Like, I'm from a small school. Like, Mohonasen was small. Like, I just felt that at Davidson, but in warmer weather and some nicer people. And so I think that really drove me. But honestly, I was stuck. And at that point, I was like, do I commit to Davidson? Do I commit to Siena? Because I definitely, like, Siena held a special place in my heart. Siena College being home. Or do I commit to Towson in Maryland? So, like, I was really stuck at that point. And then I really just went with the best place where I felt like I would be able to grow into a better person. And that gave me the best academics. And Davidson, by far, has some great academics.
Absolutely. So I've seen all of you, you know, in high school and grow into the players that you are now. Let's talk about, like, at any time, like, let's talk about the pressure of it all. Like, so you guys have been good from a young age. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, you know, she can be pretty good. She should be this type of player. So Shyla, your mom played Division I basketball. You know what I'm saying? Saeeda, you know, I know you were pushed and great. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, let's talk about, like, was there any pressure while you guys were in school before you got to college, and, you know, and talk about how you handled that? Because, like, obviously, like, that can weigh on you, because it's not just about, when you're younger, it's love of the game. And then when you get to be about your sophomore, junior year, now it's a business now, right? Because now we got to get that free education. That's what we're doing all the training in the AAU for. So talk a little bit about that, Shy.
It was definitely tough at some time, like some moments, like especially AAU, like my parents were always like, you got to get a free education, like, or you're going to like state school. And I was just like, okay. But like, I never, like, not until like the end where I was like, damn, like, I actually, like, this is tough. Right. But definitely there was times in high school where I was like breaking down, like, can't do this. But like, once I committed, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. Like, I feel like they weren't on me as much as they were before. Right. And like, I felt like I was more on my own. Like, working out would be like Shyla's decision, not like, Shyla, you need to work out. Yeah. So like, it felt better.
Yeah, you secured that bag. That bag was secure. We good now. You know what I mean? You do what the hell you want to do now. We done signed. We good. So, you know, like, you know, so Shyla and Saeeda and Graceann, I knew y'all from an early age. We kind of got together at a later age for you. Talk about when you were good, and, you know what I mean? And, you know, did you feel some pressure until you got a chance to sign?
Me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I definitely did feel pressure. Just because I came from such a small school and everything was just relied on me, like, and we didn't play like we didn't play anyone crazy. We didn't play like there was one other girl on my team that was all right, but everyone else for the most part just wasn't really good. So I didn't really have competition or whatever. I would say the most pressure came towards AU and yeah, I mean with anybody like you have pressure on yourself like I don't know if I'm getting better. I don't know like what I need to do, like how I'm going to be when I'm in college. Like my freshman year I got there and everybody's good. So it's definitely hard. That's always on in the back of your mind. Well, for me, anyways. But yeah, I would say just that thought would definitely be the most pressure.
Yeah. Grace, how about your pressure on you?
Yeah, I'm really lucky just because my parents weren't pressuring me so much. Like scholarship wise, which I think is really rare. It was more like they were so worried about my knees that it was constantly like, does it hurt? Does it hurt? Do we need to call this? Like, because it hadn't worked one time and they just like wanted to get me to signing day so that like I could get my feet in the door without like getting dropped by anybody. So that was probably the hardest thing for me. And then I guess like being from such a small town, any coach that was in the gym was one that like I had to bring there myself because I wasn't going to be playing against like a really competitive team that had other girls that were like prospective Division I players. So I really had to bring that attention to the North Country, and that was a lot of pressure, I think. But you know, it worked out. It was just tough in the moment.
Nice. So Saeeda, talk about leaving Rotterdam, and now you're going down to Charlotte, North Carolina. So now there's nobody waking you up. You know what I mean? Everything is on your own now. Like, talk about being away from home and having to be self-sufficient. Like now, really, like you guys, you know, you're not a little kid anymore. You're a grown woman now. So talk about that transition.
Yeah. I would say it was very difficult because, you know, my dad kind of crazy and he'd be waking me up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, like, all right, time for workout number 1. I'll be like, what? Like, but for a little while, like the first 2 months, I was just living it up. Like I was like, all right, I get to sleep in now. Like I don't have anybody tell me where I have to be all the time. But then I was like, I can stay up late and like go and get shots. Like the best part is like you can go into the gym whenever you want and get shots up. So if like I'm really stressed, I can go into the gym and just get on the gun and just go shoot for hours if I wanted to. I think the biggest thing was time management. It was like figuring out, all right, when in my schedule can I go to the gym, get shots up? When can I go in for rehab? When can I go in, just get extra cardio in? And I think it takes a lot of time management and like discipline, self-discipline to do that because there's always stuff going on campus. Like you're always going to want to go hang out with your friends. You're always going to want to go this place and that place, but it's really like, all right, what am I here for? I really had to sit myself down and be like, all right, what am I actually here for? I'm here for basketball and to get an education. And everything else had to come after that. So I really had to piece out my schedule as like, all right, in the mornings I'll be in class. In the middle of my day, I'm gonna go get shots up with a coach or do like a individual with a coach. Go back to class, then like go do my homework, and then I get to hang out with friends. Like I really had to like structure myself.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear this answer. Shyla, I gotta know how it was for you leaving home and getting to college and, you know, having a little bit of freedom. So talk about that and talk about how you learned how to balance your, you know, your time with basketball and your academics.
I mean, being in the city, there's definitely a lot of like things to do and like see. So you're like, ooh, let me go do this. But like in reality, like, no, you have to go to class, you have to go to practice and stuff. So like definitely in the beginning, it was like different, and like, I mean, I didn't know how to like work the subway or like any of that, so it was just like all new. So it was like, oh, let's just go jump on the train and go somewhere. But like, honestly, like, like, I feel like I had a big freshman class, so like we all stuck together and like went to class together, and then like practice, workout, and stuff like that, which helped a lot. Like if I didn't have all that, I definitely would have struggled like by myself. But like I feel like I wasn't by myself, which was nice.
Right.
But like I definitely feel like my parents were like worried because like I was only 18 in the city all by myself. But like it just didn't feel like I was by myself at all.
Yeah, I was worried too. So Grace, you're the youngest in the group, you know what I mean? So this is your freshman year at Georgetown. So what's been the most difficult thing for you?
I mean, I wish I could tell you what it's like to have fun, but like I was expecting that would be my spring semester, you know, with the season over and like school would be lighter. So I still had like so many great times with my teammates, but like I really haven't gotten to do much from like the college perspective yet. So that's a bummer, but we're having a lot of like family movie nights now. So I guess that's a good replacement. So I guess like my struggle would have been that I came in with one other freshman and we are both bio pre-med majors. So we kind of would just like study ourselves into the ground. And like, I didn't have my parents telling me like, no, you really do need to get sleep. Like that's an important thing. So I think just being like really overtired and stressed and then like struggling to find ways to cope with that was a big time thing for me in when fall semester.
Right. Got you. So Danielle, your experience is one that for me personally as somebody who's involved with student athletes, I'd like to see more kids kind of take this route and kind of use basketball instead of basketball using them. So you started off at St. Bonnie's, graduated from St. Bonaventure, and now you're getting your master's while still playing at Rutgers. So take me through how you got to this point, graduating from one school, transferring another, and getting your master's right now.
Okay, well, I kind of came in with a lot of college credits. I came in my freshman year with college credits. Like in high school, I would take, there's a community college near me, like 10 minutes away, and we had the option to take classes like through our high school or whatever. So I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna do as many as I can. So 3 years, I graduated in 3 years, mainly because of that, but also because of summer sessions. Like I know y'all probably do that too. So there was 3 of them. We only had to go to 1. My sophomore year, I stayed for 2, and I really caught up with all the sciences that I had to take, and that caught me up even further. And then next thing I know, like end of my sophomore year, I'm like, I can graduate next year. I knew I wanted to leave my sophomore year, but I was like, I'll stick it out 1 more year. And also, I didn't want to sit out. So if you graduate and you're gonna go be a grad player, you don't need to sit out. So that just sealed the deal for me. I went on all my visits and knew I wanted to go to Rutgers. And yeah, I just started my master's that summer.
And what are you getting your master's in?
My master's in adult and continuing education.
Okay, nice. Yeah, working in schools, man. There's always gonna be some schools around. So
I definitely don't want to be a teacher though.
no, man, listen, you better think about that longevity, man. I'm telling you, some good retirement plans. I'm telling you.
You're right.
So, Shyla, tell me how you prepared for your high school seasons as compared to preseason work in college now. Explain the difference between the 2 preseasons.
High school was definitely like, it's just like one or 2 workouts, and I feel like it just was like, it wasn't as tough for sure. Like it was regular workouts at home, like, and stuff like that. But once I got to school, like it was like 7 a.m. conditioning, and then lift, and then an individual, and then just like I feel like it was just more stuff added on and added on. And like at the end of the day, you're so tired, but like in college, like you had class and like you had to study, and it was just definitely not the same as high school. Like it was definitely a shock. Like your body's in shock, like you're not getting as much sleep and stuff like that, and like your body is sore as hell, and like there's some days you don't want to get up and go, but you have to.
Right. So, Sai, like, so these coaches came and sat in your living room and, you know, brought you down on, you know, on a beautiful recruiting trip and everything. And here you could put the uniform on and take your little pictures and everything like that. Now you show up there and now it's time for that preseason work. Like, were the coaches the same nice people that came and recruited you? Are they a little bit different now? Like you seeing the flip side to them now that it's time to get this work in?
Definitely. It's definitely a big surprise. Like, it's like, I don't even know the word to use to describe. Like, when you're, like, on your visit and, like, they're all nice and, like, it's like, oh, this is fun. But, like, then, like, shit gets real and, like, this is their job.
Very
and, like,
real. Very
basically,
real.
they own us. Like, they get to do whatever they want. You know what I mean? So it's just so different. Like,
Absolutely.
you definitely see the different sides of coaches and, like, how they treat their players and stuff like that. But, like, freshman year, my like coaching staff got fired, and like this year we have a new coaching staff, which is, it's been different, and like it's okay. Like I'm not like, I mean, I just didn't get like the shaft of the, like, you know, some of the girls like didn't play and stuff like that, so I was really lucky. Like I worked hard, even though I did get hurt freshman year, and then like sophomore year I had to get surgery, and then like mid-season ended up coming back mid-season and like finishing out the season, which was good. Like I was happy that like I could come back and stuff like that. So I feel like now going to junior year, like I'm in a good place. So like I'm not really like nervous and stuff like that, but I know some girls, like it was definitely messed up.
Absolutely. What about you, Saeeda?
I think I don't even know how to say, because my preseason high school workout was different from what some other people would probably were going through. So like people wouldn't show up to our high school workouts, so it'd sometimes just be me and like my dad and like my coach just putting me through like a high school workout. All I say now is, boy, that cardio is something different in college. Like when I say we just be running, they're just fun. But I would say like my favorite part about preseason workout is the lifting. Like you get in the weight room.
Oh no.
Oh, we just be rocking out. Like I'm like, all right. And now, you know, it's always the hardest part. Like the hardest part is getting there. As like sometimes you just don't want to go, but once you're there, you're good. Like you're like, all right, I can do this. But it's always the thought about having to get there that always gets me. But like usually once I'm there, I'm okay. And I think it's always like preseason workouts. Yeah, they're hard, but like I'm there with my teammates and we're going through the trenches together. Like our coaches could be mad as hell at us and we still don't care because we're in it together. Like they're gonna be mad at all of us. Let them go ahead and be mad. Right. But we're still gonna be Aki King and laughing and just being us. So
nice. I love that. Graceann, take me through a practice at Georgetown. Like, are they long? Are they short and grueling? Or like,
I wish they were short and grueling. Oh my! Ours are usually like on average 3 hours long. You have to get there an hour before for taping, and the warm up is not included in the 3-hour practice time. But like even though it was still long, like Saeeda said, it was my favorite part of the day just because I was with my teammates and we had so much fun together. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it is really, really long seeming, especially when like the pace slows down. It's a lot of fundamental stuff and it just gets really difficult. But yeah, in the preseason workouts, ours were shorter and really intense, which I liked. And then it kind of drew out when we had to do like scouts and stuff during the season. So.
Okay. And Danielle, you went from the Atlantic 10 to the Big 10 and playing for a legend in women's basketball. So talk to me about the practices at Rutgers and the different level between the A10 and the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a different level. I mean, at St. Bonaventure, yeah, we had like the 3-hour practices, like everyone does. Yeah, it was cool and all, whatever. We had the film sessions. But at Rutgers, it's a lot different. We would have 3-hour practice blocks, but sometimes we would go over for 4 hours and be like, oh, we looking at teammates like, yo, what time is it, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Be like, oh, yo, it's like an hour over already. We're like, oh my God, like what? When are we leaving? But nah, it was an experience. Like playing for Coach Stringer is definitely something not everybody can do. You got to be tough skinned and just take everything she says and use it. But yeah, we had our film sessions too, which would take a while depending on the game, like depending on whatever. One thing I would say is different is at Bonaventure we did a lot more like filming practices, and like at Rutgers everything was filmed too, but we would go over a lot of film of practice as a team at Bonaventure, but at Rutgers you're expected to do it on your own. So you have everything on game plan, all that. But yeah, practices were just it was it.
That's crazy. That's a huge thing too, and I'm glad that you touched on it. Is how much film are you guys watching? Like y'all probably didn't watch film in high school, but the preparation the preparation that you guys have to do now as Division I basketball players, I'm sure is way different than the preparation that you would to play against another high school team. And I want kids to know that I think kids should start incorporating more film into their development. It's not just getting on the court and working on your handle and working on your shooting. It's really developing your mental to be prepared for the game. So I'm glad you brought that up. So Let's talk about something huge. Shyla, when's the last time before college that you ain't played like 30 minutes in the game?
Last time before college?
Yeah.
I didn't play 30 minutes?
Never.
30 minutes. I feel like never.
Like you ain't played, you didn't start, you ain't get the playing time. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I want to talk about that. Like, I think that's the biggest transition. Like, I mean, so now it's like you girls choose this college, right? And you say, okay, I'm ready to go here and I'm ready to rock. And then you get there and you feel like you busting your ass. And then it gets to game time, and you know what? Your family come to the game, right? Because you're leaving family tickets at the game, and all of a sudden you just sitting there like, damn, man. And there's probably a little piece of you girls, because I know all of you, and there's that little competitive little thing in your heart right there. It's like, yo, I'm better than her. And she playing over me. So talk about that, Shyla. You know, I want to start with you, and I want to ask all of you. I want to get all of your perspectives on this. Talk about like going from playing all the time to really not playing at all, and how you handled that.
It was definitely different and very frustrating because I feel like all of us in here, like, we know how good we are, and like I feel like us looking at girls, like, we can tell like we should be playing more than what we deserve, like, in the moment. So I feel like it was definitely tough, and like it definitely lit some fire under my ass. Like, I actually got to get my shit together, and like eventually it did, like, and I started getting more playing time, which was good. But like then I felt like my confidence was brought down because I was like, why am I not playing? So like that was definitely tough for me because I'm all mental when it comes to basketball. So like if I'm not there, like it's a disaster.
Absolutely.
So like definitely like getting older, like going to sophomore year, I knew I had to bring my confidence up, which helped a lot sophomore year for sure for me.
Absolutely. Graceann, talk to me about what that's like for you.
I think I came into college and I was like, I'm just going to do everything that I can. And like, hopefully I get a couple minutes, just because I kind of had that like imposter syndrome where I didn't feel like I belonged there just because I hadn't played AAU, and like I said, I'm from a small town. So that was a big challenge I had to overcome, because I came into a program where like I was I like had a spot for playing time, and I had earned playing time. So really just like I think in retrospect, I didn't capitalize on the opportunity that I had this year. So I'm excited for what it's going to be going forward. But definitely, like Shyla said, it was all mental, and just like having the confidence when you're in games to produce and then get more minutes is really the biggest thing.
Okay. Danielle, like, did you, like, when you first started off and you finally did get into a game with your spot minutes, did you find yourself like looking over your shoulder? Like, does the confidence come into play because you know you're young? Like, you finally get into the game, you know, and there's some girls on your team, I'm sure, that make all the mistakes in the world and never come out the game, but it's like you make one mistake and it's like,
You're out. Yeah.
like you feel like you can't, and you feel like, damn, man, I can't even, like, let me get right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So talk about like going in there and like kind of like walking on eggshells to, like, you know what I mean? Because I don't want the mistake can come out now that I've finally gotten in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it was different from St. Bonaventure than at Rutgers. I mean, Rutgers, it was hard because I had 1 year. So, yeah, transferring and everything, I'm so happy I did and everything. But the 1 year it was kind of hard to like get in the groove of anything, really learn their style of play and everything. But yeah, like you need to be ready for your moment because it's gonna come. Like eventually, it's gonna come. I think that's what I learned. Like once you're put in the game, your number's called. Like you got to be ready, and whether that's the first game you get your number called or the fifth game you get your number called and you start hitting shots or doing your thing, like it's gonna come. But I feel like it's all about the work that you put in. If you're working hard every day, like it's definitely gonna come. And I think the coaches, like whether you think you should be playing more or not, the coaches do definitely notice if you're working hard or not. If you're not working hard, there's no reason for them to put you in. So yeah, at Bonaventure, it took me my freshman year. I got there and I'm like, yo, like this isn't even right. Like this coach didn't even recruit me, like whatever. And I was just like, well, this is what I'm given. So I stayed for the whole summer and got better. And next thing you know, I started every game, played 30 minutes a game. So I really feel like it's about the hard work you put in.
Absolutely. Saeeda, talk about your experience.
Yeah. Coming in freshman year, it was different because I had a new coaching staff and we don't do summer sessions. Like Davidson, they're like, yeah, we're not going to, like, they take your summers, like go do internships, whatever, like go abroad. So I really came in August and I was nervous because I was like, all right, so we didn't have summer. Like, how is this going to look? And my coach sat me down. She was like, to be honest, I recruited you at a different school. And then I really like the way you play. Like, you can shoot the hell out of the ball. So, like, I'm going to need you to do that here. And so I would say it was like a roller coaster because, like, the first couple of games, I wasn't playing as much. I probably played like 5 to 10 minutes each game. And then out of nowhere, she starts me. I'm starting for a length of games, playing really well. And then she doesn't start me anymore. And then I'm like, it's messing with my head. Like, am I starting? Am I not starting? Am I playing well? Am I not playing well to her standards? Like, what is going on here? And then I got hurt. And so I've been on like that injury life for a little while. And then I came back this year and I was playing and then I wasn't playing. And so it's just like a lot. And I felt like I was working really hard, like doing everything that I can. But it's just like, you have to have that hard conversation with yourself, but you also have to have that hard conversation with the coach. If you're not getting what you want, like, talk to them, like see what else, like what more you can do, like what are they looking for from you. And that's like another step that where in college you really have to grow. You can't like rely on your parents to go talk to them. Like, hell no, they're gonna be like, what the hell. You gotta have that grown woman conversation. and advocate for yourself.
Right.
And you might not like what they have to say back, but that's what you need to do. Like, you gotta put your pride aside, your ego aside, and just go do it.
I think the one thing that, I want every young, not just every young girl, but every young basketball player to take away from what all of you just said, and what I noticed is you've all had struggles, right? We're used to being top dog in high school to not playing. We've had to deal with injuries and stuff like that. So sometimes you got to play the hand that you're dealt. And what I love about all of you, and I'm a loyal person, is that you didn't make excuses for yourself and say, I'm out of here. I'm leaving LIU-Brooklyn. I'm leaving St. Bonaventure. I'm not leaving, like, because you're there to get your education, because it's bigger than basketball. Basketball is the tool that are going to get you girls a free education. That's what you're there for. If a WNBA or something overseas comes up, that's just a gravy. I'm really here to get my education at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So Danielle stuck it out and say, I'm going to just graduate in 3 years. I know I want to leave. Let me just graduate and I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And found that. So I love the fact that you girls are staying true to yourselves and staying true to your commitments and kind of seeing it through all your ups and downs. So kudos to all four of you for that. Shyla, what's the toughest adjustment that you've had to make from high school to college?
Like, in what aspect? Like, playing wise, or just like overall?
Overall, it could be all of it, because it's about the entire experience, honestly, for me.
I'd have to say definitely being away from my family is tough, but I like how, like, I'm not too far, so like my parents can come to my games a lot, which makes the situation easier for me. Mm-hmm. And then, like, also, like, definitely dealing with injuries that I've never had to deal with before. Like, I've never gotten hurt. So getting to college and ending up getting hurt with an injury that doctors couldn't figure out, which was tough for me because I'm like, I've never been hurt. So sitting out definitely wasn't easy. And, like, it made me realize, like there was days where, like, I didn't want to go because, like, why do I have to go if I'm not playing? You know what I mean? Like, that was definitely the hardest part, like, for me to overcome. But, like, then, like, getting it fixed, and then, like, sophomore year, another thing happens and I have to get surgery, and, like, it was just like freshman year, sophomore year. So I feel like, I hope, like, this year, junior year, like, I don't have any injuries and I can just actually play a full season.
Right. Toughest adjustment for you, Danielle?
I think I'm right there with Shyla on injuries. Getting hurt, I broke my nose like 7 times, and I've had to wear a mask. And I have had surgery for the past 3 years at least once. So I would say that sitting out of some practices is kind of rough because, like, you got to come back. When you can, and you're expected to know everything, know all the new plays, know all the defense, whatever. So that would be probably the most hard, and just balancing school, because, like, after practice, like, you don't want to go to class. You're like, damn, I really got to go to this hour-long class and sit through it and not fall asleep. But you got that. I would say, like, yeah, just early morning practices and then class the rest of the day.
Okay. Saeeda?
Definitely, my biggest problem has been injuries. I've had 3 surgeries on my knee so far, and we're 2 surgeries, and we're looking at another one right now. And so that's been the biggest part of how can I get through this and still come out the end being sane?
Yeah.
One thing, and 2, like, how can I put aside, like, how I'm feeling and make this experience the best that I can for myself, but also for my teammates. And, like, how can I be there for my teammates? Like, I don't know, but, like, I've been on the bench going hard on the bench, and I'm just like, I truly just be going hard for them because I'm a ride for them. And I'm gonna help them in any way I can, even though I can't, like, physically play. Right. And I think that's the biggest thing, like, I really had to learn, because with my knee surgeries, it's been a lot, and it's been very taxing, not only physically but mentally. And so I think that's the part where it's like, how can I work on myself, but also how can I be of use to my teammates even when I can't play?
Absolutely. Graceann?
Yeah, I would just echo everybody else. Injury is probably the hardest part. And then kind of in conjunction with that, it being my first year away from home and being pretty far was really hard when I got injured this season, and, you know, kind of just like taking care of myself mentally, like Saeeda said, and not having my parents there all the time to remind me to do those things that I needed to do was really hard.
Okay. Nice. So yeah, I mean, I definitely understand the injuries. You know, I've had 4 knee operations, a wrist operation, and a shoulder operation. So, you know, I definitely get it. Like, you know, it's like you kind of like we talked about the preseason work and all that, and putting all the work in, and you know, you feel like, yo, I'm in the best shape of my life, and then you get hurt and you got to sit out for a little while. Now you got to get back in game shape again. So, like, I definitely understand that. Last question for all of you. Hypothetically, I have a young daughter who wants to play Division I college basketball. Shyla, what advice would you give my daughter?
I would tell her just to work really hard, believe in herself, like you can accomplish anything you want if you put your mind to it. And like, honestly, like, and like when she like chooses her school, like pick the one that you think you could last 4 years and like you can get your education and you'll love the experience.
Right. Okay. Saeeda, what advice would you give my hypothetical daughter?
I would say set the bar, set your dreams really high, and never stop climbing them until you reach them. And don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do something, because respect, like, you can do anything that you set your mind to. And bask in the moment. Like, time is gonna fly. One day you're a freshman in high school, and the next year a junior in college, going on to your senior year, and it flashes like that. So I'm like, just take everything in, enjoy it, and rock out.
All right. Graceann?
Yeah, I would definitely say to enjoy the moment, because when you make it to this place that we all are, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it goes by so fast. And for me, it already hasn't. Like, I'm only a quarter of the way done. So yeah, just enjoy the moment, and then don't be afraid to take a risk when you pick the school that you want to go to, because I was definitely nervous to leave home, but I'm really glad that I did.
Okay. And last but not least, Danielle?
I would say set some goals for yourself, short term and long term. The second thing I would say is work hard. And the third thing I would say is I feel like I was a freshman last year. Time flies. Just live in the moment and do what you got to do. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, girls, I definitely thank y'all for taking the time out and spending some time with the OG. I'm proud of all of you and the careers that you are having and everything that you're going through, and to see the growth and maturity that you guys are taking place. So if y'all ever need me, y'all know where to find me, and I appreciate y'all for coming on, and thank y'all for giving me y'all time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, talk to y'all later.
Bye.
All right. See ya.